he's getting it now.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Heavy Metal Customs. Today we're getting back on the 68 Mustang for a little bit. We just got through in the paint booth shooting some primer for that Trans Am project. So while that primer is curing, no sense wasting time, got to get busy. And what I'm going to do on this first, you see I have the rear valance attached. And I got all the screws in there that came with it, and then a bolt and a nut set that came with it. One of them broke, so I used just a 1/4 inch over here. But it'll hold it, it's not going nowhere. Here's my issue with this thing. And I'm sure a lot of y'all have seen this. I know everybody's bouncing around here. If you go along the internet and look, and I looked at a ton of pictures of these 67 and 68s, some of them you'll see this, what I call the factory gap, which in my opinion looks like crap. And then a lot of the nicer ones, you'll see that they have filled that gap. Well, that's what I'm going to do on this one. I think if that was filled nice and smooth, that would look a ton better. And besides, you know, these tail pieces that we have, since they're so off on fitting, we're going to have to make them a permanent part of the quarter panel so we can get them on there as well, and they'll come down like in here, and we can get that a nice smooth fit. So all of this will transition very well together and not have these choppy lines in it. But that's what I'm going to do. I've got some 80 grit hand paper. We'll go ahead and clean up all of this here where we get good adhesion, and we're going to use a short-haired fiberglass for this. I'll show you that product in a minute. As y'all can see, I took everything down the middle, even got in here, because there's going to be fiberglass in there. The thing about it, I don't want to lay like just a thin sheet of fiberglass in there. I know some people probably come in here and take a piece of metal and weld it in, and then thin over that. Well, knowing how body flexes and such like that, me personally, I would like to lay this fiberglass in here thick and just have a really good chemical bond, have it go up in here around that lip. That way in the future, I should not have any problems with it. And what we have here, ordered some of this USC Duraglass. This is a basic, or I hope it's what I ordered. Ordered a basic short-haired fiberglass. And it did come with the hardener. Notice how the hardeners now are blue that you get. They used to be red. I still got a bunch of red ones over there. And I read them and I don't see no difference at all as far as the chemicals in them. If some of y'all know something about that, throw it down in the comments and educate me. Oh yeah, that smells just, oh yeah. Smells beautiful. But guys, when you open this, I don't know if y'all can see that or not, there's oil on top. Yeah. So make sure you mix this stuff up real good. I'm just going to use a paint stick. I use a paint stick for just about everything, so. Get my paint stick here and just keep on keeping on until I get it all kept on. Alright, 5.5 days later, I think I got this stuff mixed up pretty good. Yeah, bad part about that is, by the time I get it all mixed up, my hands are too wore out to do the work it takes to apply it. Go ahead and get us a good bit mixed up here, because it's going to take a good bit. Now I just use these basic type Bondo spreaders. I get a crap load of them off of eBay for my fiberglass and my Bondo, just whatever I'm working with at the time. Alright, that should be enough for now. Get the lid on there real good. Hammer is your friend. Put some of the blue magic in it. This appears to be what I ordered, the short-haired fiberglass. Guys, whenever you're working with fiberglass and or Bondo, wear you some gloves, protect your hands, be in a space where you can breathe. Stuff like this will get in your lungs and make you sick before you know it. I've got the front and back door open. There's a little breeze coming through. I've got a fan over here behind me if I need it. I'll tell you what, with the blue in there, it's just hard to tell if you got enough or not. That'll be enough. I don't want to mix it too hot. Alright, now all I want to do, guys, is go through here, and we'll shut the camera off. We'll go through and just start filling this in. I probably won't get it all in one shot. We'll just see how the fiberglass reacts. Do a piece of tape under here because you got that thing called gravity, you know. But let me get this going on, and we'll see how it goes. I think that I have it covered pretty good. What I did here, guys, I've done 2 coats. I've done one to basically do some fill-in, and then I let it get up real tacky, and then I've done this second coat. That way I should be able to go back tomorrow. I'm going to let all this cure overnight and get a good sand on this, and I believe it'll turn out really well. But if we got to mix up a little more, that's not a big deal. I can do that, because while I was waiting for that first to tack up, I figured, hey, while we're doing some glass, let's go ahead and get these spots where we put the roof on. Yeah, and you know that that's going to have to be done again after it's sanded. I mean, I can see the low spot right there, but I don't want to put it on too thick to begin with, because like I say, it's getting down in the 40s at night, only up in high 60s, low 70s during the day. I want this stuff to cure correctly where it doesn't have an issue. But I went ahead and got that spot, and of course the 2 adjacent spots on the other side. Got them filled. So, we did good, especially with our time management on this. So I'm going to call it a day for today. Let all of this cure up. And like I say, we have our primer drying over there in the paint booth. So tomorrow is going to be a busy day for me on both vehicles. Well, guys, a lot of time has passed since the previous video segments you just seen. Actually, several weeks. We halted a little work on the Mustang. Gentleman who owns it was sick, and we had a lot of other work we needed to get to as well. But we are back on the Mustang project as well as other stuff. For those of y'all following the channel, you know we're in the middle of the Galaxy 500 right now. And the issues we're having at the moment is it's too cold to get a lot of work done. We have no heat. I'm putting in a 200 amp electrical service at the moment. Man, what a headache. Don't even want to talk about that. But we're going to get a 5-ton central unit installed. We do have the oil burning heater, but due to recent politics, rules, regulations, blah, 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 it's pretty much impossible to use motor oil anymore so that we can run that heater. So that's why we're going electric. But enough of all that issue. But I want to show you what we have got done on the Mustang in the meantime, and tell you the parts that are coming and what we're fixing to do. Well, as you can see, we got some of this sanded down that we previously put on, and it's turning out very, very well. Yeah, what I've done, I started out with some fiberglass. I like fiberglass for the strength and all the properties of it. Then I'll take a little bit of Bondo with a light scheme on it and put over that. So yeah, that's turning out really well. And guys, I wasn't lying to you about the temperature. What is it, 35 degrees in here right now? Yeah, it's cold. But we did get that done while it was a little warm out. And our valance, you know, we were trying to get it smooth out. Look at that. Yeah, that right there turned out great. super happy with them pieces, the way they turned out. Yeah, liking that. I think that's well worth the effort and the time to go through. Still got a little more sanding to do on this one right up here, but it's coming along, as well as that area there in the front. So yeah, so far so good. As soon as we get the heat installed, I will be putting our side pieces on here and getting them all smooth and in there like they're supposed to be. And we have to reprofile this trunk to come down to meet them and look correctly. And for those of y'all who really know these cars, if you look, that trunk is just really too flat. It's supposed to be more of an arch on the rear of that thing. But we will get that profiled correctly once we get our side pieces installed. And I went ahead and ordered the front fascia, the upper and the lower, the GT500 one, which that's going to be quite interesting. It should be here early next week, and we'll start installing that. From what I read, they say you cannot use a factory style hood with the GT500 front end. Well, I reckon they just don't know me. We are going to make this factory hood work at that front end. It's, don't know what all is going to be involved yet. I've not done that yet, so this will be new to me, but we will make it happen. So let's wait for our parts to come in, and in the meantime, we'll be working on getting our heat situation taken care of so we can get back to more body work, and we still got to get these doors, little spot over there, and this one right here fixed up, you know, where they were dented from shipping. But we'll get all of that wrapped up and get this project back on the go. All right, one of our boxes came in. This should be the upper nose panel, the GT500 style. Let's see what we got here. Yeah. Well, at least we got some good looking bubble wrap. That's always a plus. Come on out there. Alright, anything else in the box? No. Alright, box, take a hike. Goodbye. Bye. Okay, quiet. Here we go. Here's a bunch of good sticky tape on there. I should go get it unwrapped from there. Never underestimate the value of a pocket knife. Ooh, it's got the studs in it. And probably didn't come with the nuts, but at least got studs in it. This is more of that, it's like fiberglass, but it seems like it has some plastic mixed into it. Got a lot of give. All right, right off the bat, it is what we ordered. So I'll give it that. Now, as far as the quality of it, I got some gel coat of some cracks here. The hole openings are very rough, but this is what you expect when you buy these fiberglass parts, guys. I'm not nitpicking or saying it's trash. I'm just telling you what I'm finding. Yeah, I mean, nothing, a little hand sanding and some epoxy primer over it. It's good sanding out. won't take care of. I don't see no bad bust cracks or anything like that in it. And like I say, they say you can't use this with this hood. But since this thing has some studs in it, let's go ahead and raise up the car a little bit and set it in place and just see how close or how far it is off. And keep in mind, we still need to take these fenders and probably move them in or out a little bit for alignment. So let's check that fitment. All right, let's see if it even fits. When you know it, they put metric studs in it. They're 10 millimeter. Yeah, I was able to find a couple nuts to fit it, but I carry mostly just regular SAE stuff. Where am I going here? Oh, okay, there's there. There. You don't want to fit the holes. Wonder if that hood is holding it off. It's sitting down a little bit further than what it should be. There we go. Now it's any shade higher than what it should be. Hey, that side sort of went in. And it probably just all fell back out. Yeah. Well, you can try. Stay in there some. See if I can get one of these tins on there. Nah, I think I got it started. Let's go to the other side and see if we can get them on. I think she's going to fit. It's just a lot of wiggle jiggle going on. Alright, let's see if I can get this one on. One of them. There we go. Yeah, definitely going to have to be some adjusting going on. Really doesn't fit bad. Let me let y'all get a closer look. You can see just preliminary fit. Top line ain't bad. It's when it comes here, it just bubbles out so much more. But we do have some room to pull this fender a little bit. So we're going to have to do some tweaking to make all that fit in there right. I think the other side's about the same. This brace is going to have to go. It's too high, or it should go, or that should go below it, I don't know. Yeah, but this ain't so terrible, but that is. Okay, we move the fender out some. And that's probably going to help right there. Yeah, this one's about lined up. So, I mean, not too awful god terrible. But we see the deal with the hood. So much extra, this front end comes out. And how much we're lacking on the hood. Now that's going to be something to figure out and make, but nah, no stress, I can do it. All right, I tightened up one on each side to pull it in. As far as it being gapped from here to the fender, that all looking really nice, good fit there. Took a little piece and undone it and put it in the center. That seems to be holding that very well. There is a bolt in this piece that screws to the factory front. We'll see if we need it to screw to this. I ain't putting a hole in it if I don't have to. Same way here, got a nut on there and it's holding. Let the hood down to where it's even. The hood's not hitting anything, but as you can see, there is quite a gap there again that we're going to have to do some fab work on, but not too terrible. What I think I'm going to do at this point, like I say, I'm still waiting for the lower one, so we got to see how that fits as well. They had this in a one piece, but it just looked like crap. Money wise, really wasn't a whole lot of difference in it, but just sort of didn't like the look in the one piece, just made me a little iffy on it. So let's let it down, raise the hood, loosen the fenders. This fender can come out about yay far. This fender about yay far. And see what we think about that. I'll go ahead and loosen these and we'll see if we can get this fender adjusted out where it fits this front end. Alright, fender's loose and front end's loose. It don't fit. Okay, but we expected this, no big deal. What we're going to have to do is pull our front end back off, and our holes where studs go through, we're going to have to drill them out so we get a little bit more room to be able to tweak like the bottom of the fender out to where it will come up against that and such as that and get more movement out of it. It's just too tight of a fit. So let me snatch this front end back off and we'll drill them out and see if that's going to cure our problem. Well, after fiddling with it a whole lot, it's going to line up decent. We got, that is as close as I can get it right there, guys. This will not come over this way anymore. But this line here ain't bad, a little high here. And you see right there how it dips. Well, that's just going to have to be some fiberglass work. That's all there is to that. This side comes down and does not fairly well. There's a tad hanging over. Like I say, going to be a lot of sanding, contouring, and definitely some fiberglass work to get that piece to fit and fit correctly. But what I want to do from this point on is wait for that bottom valance to get here and see how it's fitting in there, because I'm having to move the fenders and things like that. Well, in doing that, I'm not changing the back and forth of the fender, but I'm changing the left and the right. So my hood gap, see that hood gap right there looks really nice. This good have here looks nice, but a bit on the wide side. So we're going to have to find that happy medium where everything fits. Now, if everything fits fine, we could actually take the hood, maybe, and just scooch it over just a shade to make that gap the same on each side. That's the big deal. You're trying to line up so many pieces at once. It's hard and time consuming to get them to do what you want them to do. So, since I decided that I'm going to wait for the bottom valance piece so I can get all this stuff lined up at one time, I think I'm going to stop on the front. I'm at a good spot. I know where I'm at. I know what I need to do. Know what it's going to take to get this to fit and look right, and that's the important part. But it will work. I would say the big thing is making this extension piece. Going to have to think about that and talk to my customer and see how he would like it. But I think at this point, probably move to the rear end and work on them fins a little bit. Right, so what I'm going to do is try to get these where they can be held into place with some bolts. I mean, they need to be sturdy, even though we're going to fiberglass them on and seal them in. Still need to be held with bolts for strength, in my opinion. Now, as far as fitment, They don't come nowhere close to fitting anything on this car. But what we're going to do is try to get it just as good as we can get. And then we'll go in here and see if there's even enough material in here to get some bolts in. That's my next worry. Take them off and see just how much of a circle we was able to get on it. I love it. I bought a big old bag of these at Harbor Freight. They were cheap, bunch of different sizes. These things work out good for a lot of stuff. This is all I could catch. Barely catch something there, and barely catch something there. That's pretty bad. We're going to have to go in here and re-drill us some holes so we can actually catch something in here. I think the other side is just as bad. Yeah, we almost got it there. But yeah, that's just as bad. So, no good there. So if I take this and get the problem is there's not that much lip on these things, if y'all can see that okay. Yeah. And I was going to use some 3/8 bolts on it, but reckon I could take what I got, grind it out, and go with the holes that's there. Yeah, stuff like this gets aggravating when the pieces are this bad. But we're going to deal with it. Let me try that. Grind them out, grind them other two out, and just see if that's going to be enough to hold it too, and hold it well. Well, I'm getting everything prepped for the install. What I done at the end of yesterday was mark them. Remember I showed you the blue marks. I got them drilled out and got some bolts in there. See, I made some metal sleeves, metal washers, whatever you want to call them, and I glued them in there. So that'll work out well. I've done test fitted it, and that's going to do. And then I come in here with some 36 grit. See, I cleaned up everything. We want that fiberglass to get a good bite. I mean, 36 grit should do it. So what we're going to do now is get some glass mixed up and get it laid in here, put our fins on, get them tightened down, and let this stuff pretty much cure over the weekend. Then I'll come back out here Monday and we'll get to sanding and filling and shaping. All that bolted in and set, what I'm going to do is let this cure up for the weekend. I think I got a pretty good shot with that fiberglass in there. Looks like I filled up everything for the most part. Probably have to do a second coat to get some things, because I mean if you look here you can see how that's concaved in right there. So definitely have to do a second coat after we get this stuff sanded off. But what we're going for on this application is, of course, fit and strength. You notice I do have a couple clamps holding the bottom there where that should clamp up, seal up, and do just fine. At least we hope it does. So, let's let this stuff dry over the weekend. Come back out here Monday morning and get to sanding and see what we come up with. Well, after this cured, all of it held very well. And now we just got a lot of sanding and more filling to do, of course. And then once we get that done, we can start the fitment issue of the fins versus the actual trunk. But yeah, a lot of sanding and a lot to do to make them look good. But before we get into that, we just got a new box in. This should be our lower valance for our front end. So let's open that up and get it out and see what we think about it. Oh, there we go. I hope it's good. Not gonna cracks or bust. Oh man. No bubble wrap, no nothing. It's just throw it in the box. That's never good to see. Hopefully this thing is flexible and pliable enough that it didn't get damaged during shipping. At least it was UPS and not FedEx that delivered it. I think that's everything. Yes. Another big box. Alright guys, here it is. That is it, and that's actually got gel coating on it. Where, I don't know if I mentioned it or not, this here really doesn't have a, quote, gel coat. Excuse me. It's like a gray primer. I like the gel coat better. Let's look this over real quick. There's no dust in it. No, I'm not seeing no breaks or busts nowhere. Well, cool beans on that. Alright, well let's, first you know, we got to do a test fit. So let's raise it up and just see how this piece is going to coincide with the other piece. Well, as y'all can see, this is not compatible with this upper. I ordered upper to GT500 upper. And the bottom is supposed to be GT500. This does not coincide. So, we'll take this thing off, box it up, send it back, and we'll contact the company. I'll send them an email. At least it's Good Speed, who I got the bottom from. At least they're a good company with a good reputation. And they should be able to take this one back and give me the right one. Well, that's a bummer, but that's what you get sometimes when you're ordering parts. So let me take this off, put it up, and then we'll go back to the rear and work on them fins for a little bit. Well, I done some preliminary sanding on them. They look like they're going to sand out good. Now you see these, we'll call them gray spots here. That's where it was high, because I've sanded the gel coat off. And as you see, we're good right through there. Right through here, we're actually low, and that's a little low through there. So we're going to have to get us some more fiberglass in there, and we're low in here. But we knew that we would be low. There, not so terrible. Good chunky spot there, but not too bad. You see, I take more of this one off to get down there to get her straightened out. Because the deal is, when we look down the side of the car, we don't want it bulging. We don't want it swooping in. We don't want it doing nothing stupid. We want it to look the same contour as that quarter panel. So I'm going to go ahead and mix up some more glass and get it spread and let that cure up, then we'll sand it off and see what this second round holds in store for us. All right, second sanding, and it's coming right along really nice. And the way that I check all of this, I mean, you can visually see how smooth that lays down in there. But that right there looks, just on the surface, to be a little bit rough, don't it? Well, really it's not. What I do, I take my paint stick, throw it up against here, and just start going up. And you will be able to see daylight through there if you got a low spot, or if you got a high spot, it'll kick the stick out here on the back. And all of that's looking pretty good. I say just a little more sanding on it, and then a really light coat of the polyester filler, and that will have that around there taken care of. And like I say, some more sanding here on the top, but I was mainly going for the sides. But now what we're after, set that stick down, is here. We need a filler panel in these spots here. So what I've done, I took a piece of cardboard and kept cutting and got it to where she fits in there like a glove. Look at that. And yes, it fits the other side the exact same way. So we just come over, transfer it to a piece of metal, and I'll take the plasma cutter and cut them out and clean them up, and we'll get them installed next, because I think that would be the cool thing to do. And the thing about it, we get them installed, of course it's going to strengthen it up some, but when we mix up some more of our filler to go in, we can also take just a little bit, like take our finger and run through there and get that all filled in where it looks like one piece and it doesn't look all pieced together. But yeah, gotta get that filled. But let me get these cut out and welded in, and we'll do it to it. Alright, well, I got my little filler panel here cut out, and I cleaned up the edges. Now I've got to get it formed in here. As you can see, it sits there, but there's a big old gap here, of course. So what we're going to do is just take that and push it and just sort of massage it into place where we want it. So we'll just take it, push it, push it, push it. Trying to get it contoured in there how we want it. Oh, that ain't looking too bad. Now that we know basically how our contour is going to go, we can just take it out. Get a little bit more with our hands here. Get a pretty good curve to it right there. Well, I've got too much curve on the top. What's nice about metal, you can just bend it where you want it and make it happen. Okay, now that does not want to go. Oh, there we go. Alright, that ain't looking too bad at all. Looks like, guys, stuff like this, you just got to get in there and basically just fiddle with it and get it going the way you want it to go. Alright. Yeah, now that doesn't look bad at all. We definitely need to trim off some excess. Let's grab our marker. And hold it in there tight where we want it. Hopefully that made a mark in there. That way we can get this all trimmed out. Where we want it. Alright, now. Oh yeah, That is a good mark. I'll take that much off, and that should go in there and coincide with this piece. Got them installed. Yeah, they turned out pretty good. There's a really good tight fit right through here. Yeah, it won't take much to fill that and get it smooth out. But I'm happy with that. So I think the next thing I need to do is mix me up in a little fiberglass and get, like, you know, the little open spot there. Get a little more in here. Just run me just a shade up through here. I'll finish it out with the Bondo type to get that super smooth surface. But yeah, a little more glass is needed for that. Probably a couple of other little spots. And sitting there looking across here, this dips down, so I need to do a little bit of fill right in there. And I think it's that way on both sides. Yeah, but not bad. So I'll get a little mixed up and get it put on there. Like I say, I won't be able to work it till tomorrow. It'll have to dry overnight because of this cool weather. But that ain't nothing to be complaining about. At least I am making progress, and it's looking and working out fantastic. Well, as y'all can see, when I mixed up that fiberglass yesterday, I went ahead and laid it on. Because, you know, we had to get a lot added to these fins so that it would match the actual trunk. Yeah, that's a decent bit of fiberglass, but I mean, once it's all, I had it all sanded off, it wasn't too bad. Got this looking really good, that piece of metal. Got me another piece of metal up in there, and we'll get that all filled in with glass, get that airtight. And we got the trunk sitting pretty good. We're going to add more on that top there and get it contoured to fit the top of that trunk. Let me looking down the side of the car. That's looking good. And that side's looking pretty good. A little bit more on the top there as well. And we've got to put some on that top there, as well as filling that gappy hole right there. So what I'm doing now is basically waiting for it to warm up. So I'm going to go grab a bite of lunch. And when I come out for lunch, I should be able to mix up some more fiberglass and get that laid on there. Of course, it'll have to set until tomorrow, but that's okay. At least we're getting it there, and it's turning out like we want it to. Well, we have our third and final coat on there. I'm going to let that sit up and cure good. It's fine sanding, probably a lot of hand sanding. And we should get this stuff straightened out and looking like it's supposed to. But, as usual, we have run out of time for this week, and this has gotten to be a fairly long video. I hope y'all enjoyed the work we've done on the 68 so far. I think it's coming along good, and it's going to be one righteous ride when we finish. Well, guys, if you would, throw us down some comments. If you're able, hit us up on the super thanks below, please. And as always, like, share, and subscribe. Again, appreciate it much. Until the next one, we hope that everyone has a fantastic day.